This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 21st day of May in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here is what we're tracking tonight. 5 justices of appeal were sworn in today by President Irfan Ali.
I, Narendra Singh, do hereby solemnly declare
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people of Guyana,
that I will faithfully execute the office of Justice of Appeal without fear or favor, affection or ill will,
and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution
of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana,
and I do so swear. So help me.
The president said it was a necessary move to strengthen the country's judicial framework and reduce the caseload at the Court of Appeal. Those who took the oath of office were Justice Narendra Singh, Justice Joanne Barlow, Justice Nareshwar Harlanan, Justice Priyasuni Ryan Bihari, and Attorney-at-Law Kim Kai Thomas. They were appointed based on the recommendations of the Judicial Service Commission. Justice Damoni Young and Senior Counsel Rafiq Khan, who were also appointed as Justices of Appeal, will take their oath of office at a later date. President Ali said the appointment of the appellate judges is a vital step in strengthening the institutional framework of the administration of justice in the country. Firmly rooted in the Constitution, the Court of Appeal serves a pivotal role in reviewing appeals from decisions and orders of the High Court, the president noted. He said the appellate court ensures that the law is applied consistently, judiciously, and equitably, and doing so contributes to the preservation of the rule of law, the protection of fundamental rights, and the maintenance of constitutional order.
The appointment of these 5 eminent individuals, made on the recommendation of the Judicial Service Commission, reflects the continuing fortification of our judicial architecture. Their elevation comes at a time when the demand for efficient and expeditious appellate review is greater than ever. The efficacy of any legal system is closely tied to the timeliness with which it dispenses justice. In this regard, the expansion of the complement of the appellate judges is both timely and necessary. It will facilitate more efficient management of the appellate caseload and allow for the speedier resolution of matters, thereby enhancing public confidence in the judicial process.
While offering his congratulations, the president also told the new appellate judges that the nation expects the highest standards of judicial decorum and ethical rectitude.
With such distinction comes a heightened responsibility, one that demands the utmost diligence, impartiality, and fidelity to the Constitution and laws of the Republic. As Justices of Appeal, will be called upon to be arbiters in many matters of legal significance. Your pronouncements will shape jurisprudence, guide future adjudication, and influence the manner in which justice is experienced and upheld in our republic.
He also said objectivity, unremitting impartiality, and an unassailable integrity are required in the execution of their mandate.
Objectivity ensures that judgments are grounded solely in the merits of the case and applicable legal principles, devoid of personal or extraneous considerations. Judicial impartiality is a bulwark of a free and democratic society. It must be guarded zealously and exercised without fear or favor. Integrity remains the foundation of a judiciary that commands respect, legitimacy, and public confidence.
The Justices of Appeal were appointed in accordance with Article 1281 of the Constitution. They will complement the 3 already confirmed Justices of Appeal. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Did you know that local businesses are now providing 100% of several key services to the oil and gas sector? This highlights the significant achievements in local content development. In 2020, only 5% of selected services were provided by Guyanese companies. Presently, that number has reached 100%. Some of the fully Guyanese provided services include scaffolding, transportation and immigration support, with the inclusion of visa applications. The expansion of local capacity has led to increased investments and job creation. Hundreds of companies are benefiting from the oil and gas industry, and so can you. To access opportunities like these in the oil and gas sector, visit the local content secretariat's supplier portal.
The Ministry of Education wishes to announce that the Because We Care Cash Grant and the Uniform and School Supplies Grant will begin distribution from May 12, 2025. Please note, however, that distribution will begin later in May and in some cases June for certain regions. Therefore, we encourage all parents and guardians to consult the published distribution schedule to confirm when their grant will be available.
So, what's been given this year?
The grant has been increased to $55,000 per child. This includes $50,000 for the Because We Care Cash Grant and $5,000 for the Uniform and School Supplies Grant.
Who qualifies for this grant?
All public and private school learners from nursery year 1 to grade 10 who are registered and attending school are eligible. In grade 11, only students who will register for CAPE grade 12 in September qualify, along with current grade 12 students who will be continuing to grade 13. For children entering nursery this year, they must have been registered by March 28, 2025.
How do I collect the grant?
The parent or assigned guardian of the child can uplift the grant at the child's school. Just make sure to bring a valid form of ID, your national ID card, passport, or driver's license.
What if I don't have any of those IDs?
No worries, your identity can be verified by a senior official in your community, such as the school's principal or village tusho.
Suppose I can't go myself to collect it. What then?
You can authorize someone else to collect the grant on your behalf.
What happens if I miss the date?
If you miss the scheduled date at your school, a later collection date will be announced, but this will only happen after the national distribution is completed, so it's best to collect it as scheduled if possible. Got more questions? Check the Ministry of Education's social media pages or contact your child's school for more information. in service to you because we care.
Welcome back. Well, President Irfan Ali today downplayed the proposal by the leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, for the acting Chancellor and the acting Chief Justice to be confirmed in their positions, telling reporters that the process of appointing officers to the top two judicial posts is clearly outlined in the Constitution. For a Chancellor and Chief Justice to be appointed, there must be agreement between the President and the opposition leader. The opposition leader had written to the President more than 2 years ago indicating his full support for the current acting Chancellor and the acting Chief Justice to be confirmed in their posts.
And of course, the matter of the Chancellor and Chief Justice is important to me. It's important to our country, and we'll continue to work to find a solution.
Guyana has not had a substantive Chancellor for 2 decades. Justice Janet Cummings has been the acting Chancellor since 2017. She took over from Justice Carl Singh, who acted from 2005 to 2017. Justice Roxanne George has also been acting as Chief Justice since 2017. The President said while he will continue to examine the issue of a substantive Chancellor and Chief Justice, the government has been supporting the development of the local judiciary.
As I said, we continue to examine the issue, and we are ensuring that the judiciary itself is well equipped, not only with the infrastructure but with the human assets. So the appointment of these judges in filling the different slots. And of course, there will be now, the Judicial Service Commission will now have to look at the High Court, because they'll be opening there also.
Earlier this year, the president of the Bar Association, Kamal Ramkaran, said the situation is untenable and unacceptable, as he called for Justice Cummings and Justice George to be confirmed to the top 2 judicial posts. Ramkaran said the process is not that complicated, noting that Justices Cummings and George have been performing the duties of the top 2 judicial positions without issue, and therefore ought to be confirmed. Attorney General Nandlall is not too happy with the criticism that the government is facing over the passage of that oil pollution prevention bill, known as the Oil Bill. It was passed in the National Assembly last Friday. The opposition has been arguing that the bill needs to provide clearer mechanisms for compensating those who might be affected by oil spills, especially marginalized communities like fishermen who depend on marine resources. The bill has also been subject to daily scrutiny of editorials and letter writers in the local newspapers. During his weekly Issues in the News program last evening, the Attorney General said there is a deliberate effort to distort the bill. He said the intention of the bill is to bring the petroleum sector into closer alignment with international best practices and ensure environmental safeguards, as well as to create legal clarity as it relates to liability around oil pollution.
So this bill, as all the others, this bill was drafted by experts in the United States of America and sent to us. It complies with all international standards and international treaties and international laws relevant to the sector. In drafting this bill, the consultant looked at legislation in a number of different territories.
Mr. Nandlall said every piece of legislation tabled by the government in relation to the management of the oil sector is a landmark piece of legislation. He described the criticism over the bill as rantings and rumblings.
The bill meets all international standards and requirements. After we received this bill, it spent nearly a year in Guyana going through a process of adaptation to bring it in conformity with and inconsistent with our local circumstances. And then we had to consult with all the agencies and stakeholders touching and concerning the bill, or which the bill touch and concern.
The Attorney General said before the legislation made its way to the floor of the National Assembly, similar pieces of legislation from the US, Norway, Canada, and the UK were examined and studied. Recently, international lawyer Melinda Janke wrote to the President urging him not to sign the bill into law, pointing out several flaws.
Ms. Janke can go and check the constitutions of other Caribbean territories and other Commonwealth territories. And I challenge her to find like provisions dealing with the environment as they are in the Guyana Constitution. In her next letter to the public, she must find which countries in the Caribbean or even the wider Commonwealth that embraces environment as a right, safe environment as a right, clean environment as a right, and as a fundamental freedom, the way that the Guyana Constitution does it.
The Attorney General said the government will continue to defend the bill. Now to that election fraud trial. Executive member of a new and united Guyana, Kian Jabor, took the stand today as the election fraud trial continued. During his testimony, Jabor recounted the chaos that erupted at the GECOM Command Center at the Ashmans building during the 2020 elections. He testified about the door of the office of the chairman of the Elections Commission being kicked down during the chaos which unfolded. Jabor told the court that on that particular day, a number of persons had swarmed the third floor of the Ashmans building, where the GECOM chairman's office was located, and demanded entry into the office. He said amid rising tension and demands for the door to be opened, entrance was achieved. The door was kicked open. While on the cross-examination by defense attorney Nigel Hughes, Mr. Jabor said at the time several police officers were present and had made it clear that he was not authorized to enter the office of the GECOM chairman. According to him, the search in pursuit of the chairman of the Elections Commission followed an attempt by the Region 4 returning officer Clermont Mingo to declare the results of the elections for District 4. Jabor said it was his intention to bring the wrongful declaration to the attention of the GECOM chairman. According to him, at the time, he had not received training on the steps to be taken to challenge declarations by returning officers, and was not aware whether any formal protest was made in response to the declaration made by Mingo. Jabor said once the door was kicked open, he did not present the GECOM chairman with a formal letter of protest nor a complaint. He also admitted that he did not speak to the chairman. Jabor later attempted to backpedal his earlier statement that he kicked down the door, but the attorney Nigel Hughes reminded him of his earlier statements. He said he did not physically kick down the door, but the attorney told him that he said so repeatedly, about 5 times, the attorney said. Jabor told the court that prior to kicking down the door of the office of the GECOM chair, he had also breached a police barricade in his attempt to get to the chairman, who was reportedly on the 3rd floor. He told the court that although he was cognizant of the fact that the orders of the police must be adhered to, he disregarded the instructions of the police on the ground at the time. He admitted to the court that he knew at the time that he had no legal justification for his actions, which included breaking through a police barricade that was erected. According to the ANOG executive, at the time, he felt that democracy was under threat and time was of the essence. He said he was never arrested for his breaches.
GECOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by June 30, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Anyone eligible for registration is required to visit the GECOM registration office responsible for his or her area of residence to apply for registration. Persons who are already registered could apply for a name change if they have changed their names since they were registered. Apply for corrections if there is incorrect information on their national ID card. Persons who are desirous of conducting any of those transactions must provide the relevant supporting documents. Persons who have already registered must collect their new ID cards if they have not yet done so. This registration exercise will end on May 30, 2025. You need to apply for a transfer if you now live at another address since you were registered. For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-027729 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
New York City, summer is about to get hot. Saturday, August 2nd, SR Hamilton LLC presents Gospel Infusion. Featuring Samuel Medas, Psycho, Eddie Neblett, Sean Daniels out of Trinidad, Carlvin Burnett, Christelle Brandt, Sherilyn Maloney, DJ Kesta D, and many more at the South Jamaica Multi-Service Center, 11402 Guy R. Brewer Boulevard, Queens, New York. Gates open at 4 p.m., showtime 5 p.m. Get your super early bird tickets for only $50. General admission $70. Pay more at the gate, and limited VIP $100 all inclusive. Come and experience the outpouring of God's grace Saturday, August 2nd. For more information, visit Gospel Infusion on Facebook and Instagram.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Need small appliance for your kitchen? Guyflan have it. Need fridge or stove? Guyflan have it. Speakers or laptop? Guyflan have it. I'm telling you, Guyflan have everything. And don't get me started on TVs. 58-inch, 65-inch, 70-inch, 75-inch. All sizes in leading brands. Best thing about it, they give a warranty. Man, Guyflan is the place for all your electronics purchases.
Washee. Hi people, washing made so easy since I found Washee. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say Washee soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washee soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washee soap powder leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks to Washee soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright, have my clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Washee soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washee soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washee soap powder have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Stabrook Market.
Leader of the Alliance for Change, Nigel Hughes, believes the government of Guyana, in addition to briefing its allies and partners, must consider taking further drastic and decisive actions to demonstrate its resolve against Venezuela's acts of aggression, including the expulsion of the Venezuelan ambassador. He said other steps could include recalling Guyana's ambassador in Caracas and making a request for the UN Security Council to rebuke and sanction Venezuela. Mr. Hughes told a press conference on Friday that it is time that Guyana stops being passive and turning the other cheek. He said the latest attack has to be located on a graph that shows a deliberate and steady escalation of attacks and provocations against Guyana.
For the past 6 months, we have experienced the following incidents. In December 2024, the declaration of the opening of a bridge linking Venezuela to mainland and Coco Island, which you all know is the territory of Guyana. In January 2025, the announcement that elections would be held in a fantasy region known as Guyana Essequiba for the election of a governor and legislative council. In February 2025, the shooting and almost fatal wounding of soldiers on patrol in the Guyoil River. In March 2025, the incursion into Guyana's territorial waters and exclusive economic zone by patrol vessel identified as ABF Guayquerí PO11, a Venezuelan Coast Guard vessel. In May 2025, the rejection of the jurisdiction of the International Court of Justice and its conservatory orders to halt the planning and execution of the purported elections to be held on May 25, 2025. And now, this week, the coordinated shooting once again in 3 separate incidents within a matter of hours at GDS soldiers who were clearly in uniform. This emerging pattern is clear and undeniable. It shows that a rogue state in Venezuela is waging an undeclared war against Guyana.
Mr. Hughes said the pattern further suggests that despite the known consequences and repercussions, Venezuela intends to stage a special military operation in the Essequibo region. While offering the AFC's unmitigated support to the defense of Guyana's borders and its territorial integrity, the AFC leader said the latest attack cannot be taken lightly. As he condemned the actions of Venezuela and reinforced the AFC's support for Guyana's territorial integrity, Mr. Hughes also used the opportunity to call for the reconvening of the Foreign Relations Committee of the National Assembly and the Bipartisan Border and National Security Committee that previously existed. The AFC, he said, awaits to be engaged. In the interim, he called on all Guyanese to be vigilant, prepared and supportive of those on the front line. Demerara Bank Limited has announced that it has slashed its interest rates on mortgages to 5% on loans of up to $30 million. In a statement, the bank said its revised offering, which applies exclusively to residential loans, is designed to make home ownership more accessible and affordable. The bank has also introduced several fee waivers and cost-saving measures. According to the bank, there will now be a 50% discount on attorney fees and no processing fees and a waiver of site inspection fees. The bank said together these incentives aim to reduce the upfront cost of owning a home and create a smoother path toward financial independence and stability for Guyanese families. The move by the Demerara Bank comes days after President Irfan Ali announced that he had instructed the finance minister to write to the New Building Society Limited to increase its mortgage ceiling to $30 million and cap the interest at 5%. According to the Demerara Bank, the initiative forms part of its broader effort to give back to the communities it serves and strengthen the nation's housing sector. The bank CEO Daulat Parbu said that the bank recognizes that owning a home is one of the most important milestones in a person's life. By lowering rates and removing several key costs, the bank believes it's not just offering financial products, but it's also offering real support to the people of Guyana. The Demerara Bank says over the years it has maintained a strong reputation for its customer-first approach and practical long-term investments in local development. 2 men were injured after being attacked and shot last evening in the Sophia area. Police investigators are probing the incident. The 2 injured men have been identified as Andrew Stewart and Lidge Grant. They had told investigators that they were on their motorcycles at around 9:45 last night heading north in Ayfield, Sophia, when 2 armed men who were wearing masks and dressed in dark clothing rode up on a motorcycle alongside them and opened fire. The 2 victims said they were forced to jump off of their motorcycles and seek cover behind the parked truck. The suspects rode away from the scene on their motorcycle. One of the victims sustained a gunshot wound to the right side of his back, while the other sustained a wound to his lower back. They were both taken to a city hospital and admitted. The police said the scene of the shooting was processed by CID ranks and 15 9mm spent shells were found. The suspects are still to be identified. But get this, the police said CCTV cameras in the area captured the scene, and investigators observed that it was an exchange of gunfire between the suspects and the victims. The hands of the victims were swabbed for gunpowder residue.
It was around about 10 o'clock last night. I was in my home sitting by the dining and I heard like a motorcycle pass. But I know them young men around here just be riding up and down. And I heard like pie, but I didn't take it for anything because you know these old bikes sometimes they just give that kind of sound. But then after then I hear brrrr, and I camped for the floor. And after then the same kind of reaction, you know.
The investigations are ongoing tonight.
The moment is coming. He has the ball. Will he make the shot? And he made it! Goal! This is the biggest win we've seen in ages. Feel the rush with every bet and win big. Play online at www.ibetgamesui.com.
With iBet Supreme, every game is your game. iBet to win with iBet Supreme.
Must be 18 years and older to bet.
The Ministry of Education wishes to announce that the Because We Care cash grant and the Uniform and School Supplies grant will begin distribution from May 12, 2025. Please note, however, that distribution will begin later in May and in some cases June for certain regions. Therefore, we encourage all parents and guardians to consult the published distribution schedule to confirm when their grant will be available.
So, what's been given this year?
The grant has been increased to $55,000 per child. This includes $50,000 for the Because We Care cash grant and $5,000 for the Uniform and School Supplies grant.
Who qualifies for this grant?
All public and private school learners from nursery year 1 to grade 10 who are registered and attending school are eligible. In grade 11, only students who will register for CAPE grade 12 in September qualify, along with current grade 12 students who will be continuing to grade 13. For children entering nursery this year, they must have been registered by March 28, 2025.
How do I collect the grant?
The parent or assigned guardian of the child can uplift the grant at the child's school. Just make sure to bring a valid form of ID, your national ID card, passport, or driver's license.
What if I don't have any of those IDs?
No worries, your identity can be verified by a senior official in your community, such as the school's principal or village tushaw.
Suppose I can't go myself to collect it. What then?
You can authorize someone else to collect the grant on your behalf.
What happens if I miss the date?
If you miss the scheduled date at your school, a later collection date will be announced, but this will only happen after the national distribution is completed, so it's best to collect it as scheduled if possible. Got more questions? Check the Ministry of Education's social media pages or contact your child's school for more information. In service to you, because we care.
Busta presenting the new 500 milliliter. Wow, Busta flavorful. Make every meal better. Grab a Busta for drink, Busta move. Taste this. 500 ml, that's it. Busta for this, that's cool. Busta 500 milliliter is a brand new choice of my drink with my food. Vibing every munch, that's smooth. Introducing the new Busta 500 milliliter. Grab a bottle with your lunch today.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall. In the region, 3 sex offenders, 1 convicted murderer, a convicted human trafficker, and 4 people who committed immigration violations are among the 21 Trinidadian nationals who are being deported from the United States on Friday. The others were guilty of a host of miscellaneous offenses. Trinidad's defense minister detailed the major offenses committed by the deportees during an interview with the Guardian media at his Temple Court, Port of Spain office. Asked if the sex offenders highlighted by the U.S. authorities will need to register upon their arrival in Trinidad and Tobago, the minister admitted that the government will have to make an adjustment to the existing laws to deal with that issue. Last Saturday, the Homeland Security Ministry issued a press release stating that the returning individuals, the 17 men and 4 women, are currently in U.S. immigration custody. It said the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, had requested a single charter flight to Port of Spain as an efficient means to repatriate the group. This will be the second batch of deportees after 11 nationals were deported on March 28. The world's tropical forests, which provide a crucial buffer against climate change, disappeared faster than ever recorded last year, new satellite analysis suggests. Researchers estimate that 26,000 square miles of these pristine, old-growth forests were lost in 2024. Fires were the main cause, overtaking land clearances from agriculture for the first time on record, with the Amazon managing particularly badly amid record drought. Tropical rainforests store hundreds of billions of tons of carbon in soils and woody trunks, but this new global record raises further questions about their resilience on a warming planet. Many researchers are concerned some forests, such as parts of the Amazon, may be approaching a tipping point beyond which they could fall into irreversible decline. And finally tonight, international news. U.S. President Donald Trump confronted the South African president on Wednesday with explosive false claims of white genocide and unfair land seizures during a tense White House meeting. Murder rates are high in South Africa, but the overwhelming majority of victims are black. The South African president arrived prepared for an aggressive reception, bringing popular white South African golfers as part of his delegation and saying he wanted to discuss trade. But in a carefully choreographed Oval Office onslaught, Trump pounced, moving quickly to a list of concerns about the treatment of whites, which he punctuated by playing a video and leafing through a stack of printed news articles that he said proved his allegations. But the South African president, sitting in a chair next to Trump and remaining poised, pushed back against his claims. He said while there is crime in South Africa, the majority of the victims are black. And that's your news source evening bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you a pleasant evening.